Oh, okay. All right, hold on.
Man, oh my bad. So we are back live on the Undisputed Gold. What the hell? Kind of looked at me like my bad, my fault, people. My fault, my good people.
Man, we got a blooper. We ain't even in a minute in the show yet.
Damn.
I'm not with these fools. I just
I'm already fucking up.
Nah, guilt by association. Your face is in the screen too. You just have to look away.
Yeah. So oh my God. But once again, man, we're here on the Undisputed Gold podcast, man. We're live tonight, man. Look, man, a lot been going on, man. Unfortunately, we didn't have the great flash on last week's on midweek show when we went up on a Tuesday during the trade deadline. But we got our guy back. In the great words of Cam Newton, wait till I get my dog back. And now we got him back right now. So we ready to deliver the flair even more, man. Big ups to PFP for joining us on that. Day, man. I had a hell of a time on that. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Ports PSP podcast. And look, hey, 150 subscribers right here. We just reached a new milestone, 180. So, hey, man, we're doing big things here, man. But I got to ask my world famous panel, my partners in crime, triple threat, the three amigos, triple double. How y'all doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. Just living life. Been enjoying the football. It's like the 1 o'clock games for the most part were pretty low scoring, and then you get to the 4 o'clock games, and then they decide, hey, let's wake up. So it was. I've had fun today watching football. Shoot, the weekend's been fun for the most part. We got a lot to talk about. Shoot, work going good. Like I can't complain, man. I can't complain. And it's always a pleasure to shed a spotlight with you two fine gentlemen. I'm ready to get at it.
Alas,
I'm doing good. Yeah, sorry I couldn't make it last Tuesday to the show. I got my own athlete that I got to take care of. My daughter plays hockey, and I basically live at the local ice rink. So, yeah. So, but a lot happened during the trade deadline. Shout out to Dwayne, who's been a regular now, turning in every week. Thank you, sir, very much. And then, of course, the great PSP. What's up, dude? Yeah, same thing. Job going good. Kids good. Can't complain. I'm doing good.
Hey, man, let me ask y'all this real quick, man. As you all know, before we get right into it, we had a show on. We had a football game on at 9 this morning. Do y'all think they should have a double header going forward? Or you think it's too early for a double header at a certain point?
Depends on scheduling. They don't necessarily. It's not necessary. They don't have to have a doubleheader. It depends. I mean, the more the better. But it's not like, oh my gosh, we got to have 2 games in the morning. It depends on the scheduling. You don't have to have a doubleheader.
Yeah. I believe that too, man. I don't think you should have a doubleheader in the damn morning, especially because it's already too much football in order to pay attention to as it is at this moment in time. It's a lot as it is. So you adding more. And look, a lot of people are in church that day. They're in church in the early morning. I know being my father, we used to go to church at 8 o'clock service in order to get back to the house, especially on first Sunday. As y'all all know, as church going men, y'all already know what happened on first Sunday, especially when you down south. You have to, first Sunday, you have to go to Sunday school. Then, you got communion. And then also, for those of us down south, I don't know if y'all do it up north, Flash.
What?
Fellowship.
Oh, church?
Yeah, fellowship. When you go to, what fellowship is when you go to church, right? When they had that big old meal in the back.
Yeah, that's literally my church is called Freedom Fellowship, and we have a meal every time after church.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay, then I need to come to your church. No, we always look. To be honest, if you already know, we got that one family member. He
That's
always go
that.
to on the
That's that.
first
That
Sunday.
first. That first Sunday. That communion Sunday right there. That first Sunday.
Yeah, he go to church
Shoot,
that first Sunday, and he'll bring him behind the church. No damn more doing the damn.
yeah, I'm telling you, you don't. Yeah, I'm telling you, folk don't go to church no more the rest of the month, but they gonna go first Sunday and get that free food. They gonna go first Sunday to get that free food. They won't go nowhere. They won't go no time else the rest of the month. But they know that food is communion Sunday, so they gonna come in that first Sunday. They gonna come in dressed up, looking nice. They don't even stay. They don't even stay to eat. They get plates and fill the plates up and take them home.
I'm gonna, the pastor know he only came to he only came there on Sunday. Hey, brother Brian, I'm gonna catch you here later on, right? Yeah, I'm gonna come next Sunday.
Oh, yeah,
I'm gonna hold you to it. And then he come
by
in.
next Sunday, by next Sunday, y'all both forgot.
Exactly. Man, shout out to the churches that always do fellowship, especially during these times. During these times, these hard times of economic crisis and things of that nature, man. Big ups to the churches that are helping out the communities, that still help out the communities, man. Because a lot of churches that are helping out the communities, a lot of community programs. Thank all of y'all for helping the everyday people out, man. So big ups to y'all. But let's just get right into it, man. We already know we got to get right into it. The quick hits. And as y'all know, we call it the quick hits for a minute. We call it the quick hits for a reason, that is. We're going to be gone in 1,000 seconds. That's 16 minutes for those who don't know how to add, divide. If the public school system that fails you, then 1,000 seconds is 16 minutes. So let's get right into it. Who is the GOAT performer of the week? Whoever wants to go first. I'll go last in this one.
You can go first, Flash.
I mean, we're at the point. He's going to come up later in the show, but Jonathan Taylor is slowly putting together a historic NFL season and is carrying that Colts team, week to week. I mean, I'm starting to believe. I'm starting to be a believer in what Champ is saying, and has been saying the last couple of weeks, that we might get our first non-quarterback MVP since
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. I don't, man. I don't know how you not. I don't know how you don't give it to him this week.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's definitely one of my go performers. And tell you something, man. He needed all 244 rushing yards to beat us. Because I tell you what, though, shout out to our defense. Even though we lost today, shout out to our defense. 7 sacks, forced fumble recovery, and a pick. It's a shame we're 3-6 the way our defense has played this year. 13 sacks in 2 games. We are fourth in fourth in the league in defense in yards allowed per game. We are first in pass defense. Our weak link is our rush defense. We had 31 sacks all of last year. We already have 29 this year. Shout out to our defense. In a losing effort, I got to give y'all props. But the reason why I'm not going to give Jonathan Taylor the most valuable player is because my pick is balling. Matthew Stafford is just good God. Like threw for 4 more touchdowns today. He's already got 25 on the year. Rams are rolling. I think right now, if I had like if we're going top 3 MVP candidates right now, it's probably Matthew Stafford, Jonathan Taylor, and Drake May. Those would be my top 3 picks right now. That'd be my top 3. I mean, just like it's like what Matthew Stafford's doing at 37 years old to still be balling like this, to still have one of the strongest arms in the league. But like I talked about him before, with his years and his knowledge for the game, it's just like he's playing at a level that I didn't even think he had, and it's just crazy what Matthew Stafford's doing at 37 years old. So I'm going. I'm personally leaning towards Matthew Stafford because, like I said, I got a little bias. He was my preseason MVP pick, but I didn't think he had 25 touchdowns and 2 picks through what is this 9-10 games. I didn't know he had this in him. So he's balling.
Dude, I gotta admit, dude, that when I'm just gonna be blunt, when you picked him as your MVP candidate, there in my head I mildly giggle because I'm like, we're talking about this dude, and no shade, well maybe a little bit, but like I was sitting there going like we're talking about this dude having a back injury and he might like not play, and now he's doing what he's doing. So that's why I'm like, really, like he's your MVP, your dark horse, and fuck me, man.
He won my dark horse. He was my pick to
Yeah,
win it.
yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, so bravo, bravo, dude. Like that's fuck yeah.
Hey,
I mean, I just felt like I don't know. It's just I don't know something. You see Devontae Adams, you see Puka Nakua, you see Kyron Williams behind him. Something. It was. I just felt something. I just felt something. This is like this might have been like this is arguably like the best combination of offensive talent you could say he's ever had. And you got to think about the receivers he's thrown to in his career. This is collectively the best offense he maybe has ever had, and that's saying something.
yeah, especially when you think about
collectively. Oh yeah, I don't even think that's an argument.
yeah.
I mean, you look at who. I mean, he had Calvin Johnson in Detroit. Now, granted, he was the only receiver. Calvin Johnson is a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. And then Cooper, and then he had Triple Crown, arguably greatest receiver season of all time, Cooper Kupp, like winning the championship. And now he's got Puka, he's got Devontae Adams, who's still really, really good, and Kyron Williams, who's like arguably a top 10 back in the league. So it's crazy. It's crazy what he's still able to do.
The Detroit Lions.
Mm.
The Detroit Lions. I got to give props. I understand that people are going to say, well, they just played the Washington Commanders and Jaden. I understand that. But part of winning in football is you have to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And Jahmyr Gibbs, I did not realize he was that damn young. He's not even 23 years old. He's only 23 years old.
Yeah, he's young. Yeah, he's young.
That dude was at least 24, 25.
No.
That dude is only 23 years old, and he already is just, bruh.
I mean, he came out. I think he was only a junior in Alabama when he came out, and him and Bijan are the same draft class. So
Yeah.
I mean, they're both around the same age.
Damn, that is crazy. Like I said, I did not know he was 23 years old. Damn, the most yards for anybody before the age of 23. And then you got to give Jared Goff a hell of a lot of credit because they stated that he was going to falter without Ben Johnson. So, yeah. So you got to give him a hell of a lot of credit. So, hey, Detroit proving once again this year that, hey, don't count us out because we lost Aaron Glenn and our staff. You know, we still have the capability in order to put up these numbers. Remember what happened with the last team that lost a lot of their staff members, Philadelphia Eagles. What happened the next year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you know what's funny is we're seeing teams now that are surviving the poaching of coordinators a lot better now. I mean, like the Eagles, hey, they're still arguably the top team in the league. We're seeing Detroit, surviving losing Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. I mean, the Niners have, they lost, the Rams, McVay has lost, a ton of talent when it comes to coaching, and he's survived, so we're seeing franchises survive that a lot better now than we have in years past, which is, I mean, that shows that coach scouting and everything else, and then bringing up, coaches and a system. And I'm tripping over my own words right now, but having a almost like a farm system of coaches, and this is what a lot of franchises like this do. Like a lot of great franchises do this. So it's nice to see, that we all question whether Detroit would be able to survive losing Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, and they've been fantastic. So I mean, here we are, week 10, and they're still tied for first place. So
doing what they do best, and that's they doing what they do best, and that's packing people up before halftime.
Exactly. Trapping them and knocking them and leaving them done.
Exactly.
In the great words of Nas. Shout out to Nas, by the way. Just got that casino approved in Queens. You know what's so ironic about him getting approved for that casino? Remember in that movie, in that video, Street Dreams, right? Remember he had that cigar, he was impersonating Robert De Niro in Casino. So yeah. So yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite ironic. I know this is off the subject of sports, but I don't know about a lot of other, it seems like with every genre of music, especially when you think about the people who we grew up listening to, whether that be Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace, whether that be Michael Jackson, Jay-Z, Taylor Swift, whoever. It's so groundbreaking when these artists become super business people. Like, I never thought I'd see Hove be a billionaire. I never thought I'd see Rihanna be a billionaire. I never thought I'd see Kanye. A lot of these guys, even Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi, they were so damn rich that they put in a bid in order to buy the Buffalo Bills at one point. But to see these guys and these women become mega businesses, that is like, damn, you come a long way from just slinging albums. So that's just a thing. Like I said, can you imagine if Bon Jovi, the entertainment value, if Bon Jovi would have bought the Buffalo Bills?
Oh yeah, I mean it would. Oh yeah, man. I think the entertainment value alone, just off of Bon Jovi being like, I've seen them. Like I've never seen them live, but I mean I've seen like them perform or whatever. They get it in. They knew what they're doing. So yeah, it definitely would have took entertainment value up.
Shot through the heart and played your game. But hey, you give love a bad name. Speaking of a bad name, who's the biggest loser of the week? I'm gonna go first on this one. I have to say the Buffalo Bills. Gotta say the Buffalo Bills.
Dude.
Because right now, you are in a bad state of affairs right about now. You have personally, in less than a year, number one, the Super Bowl window is closing right now. And now your worst nightmare has happened. The New England Patriots are reincarnated right now. And you go down there and lay an egg against the Miami Dolphins. And not only just lay an egg, you get your behind mashed. You're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because the Super Bowl window was already closing on you. Now the New England Patriots went out and got a great coach who's arguably a better coach than Sean McDermott, especially now that he has a quarterback and he doesn't have to rely on Derrick Henry to be end-all, be-all like he did in Tennessee. They have good running backs. They have good receivers. They have a hell of I didn't know that damn New England Patriots defense was that damn good.
Yeah. What did I say? For our season preview, I said I think their defense is a top 10, top 7 defense in the league. I said I didn't think they had the offensive talent. I didn't believe in Diggs coming back from the ACL. I did like the running back that they drafted, Henderson, who finally blew out, like, just fucking talk about a coming out party. Finally, like, after all the hype in the preseason, finally came out. And I honestly had not seen enough from Drake May, and I just didn't think they had the offensive weapons. Well, fuck me, was I'm wrong, and boy, I'm happy when I'm wrong when it comes to my Patriots. So, yay.
Hey, but I got to say, Josh Allen and that team is in very much a lot of trouble at this point. And
question I want to pose.
Yeah.
Okay,
we've seen the start of the Miami season was like, oh my God, they're going to fire everybody and blow this whole thing up. And now the last couple of weeks, they've been playing a lot better. Has the injury to Tyreek Hill been a blessing in disguise?
I would say yeah, no, because I would because I don't know, because Tua, the way they played offense, it you had Devin Achane, you still had Jalen Waddle. I mean, they weren't like it wasn't like such a force feeding show to Tyreek Hill, if you get what
No,
I'm saying.
but
I think, but the reason why I'm gonna say yes to that is because
Running the
of
ball.
the PR nightmare that Tyreek Hill was starting to become.
Yep.
It was the PR nightmare that he was starting to become. And look, we ain't wishing injury on nobody. That's one thing we are not gonna do.
no,
But yeah, you know what I'm saying. And yeah, but it's like that drama's gone because every time you heard about Tyreek Hill, it was something else, particularly with his wife, ex-wife, whatever you want to call her. That's all you heard.
mamas.
Yeah, mamas, babies, mamas. Yeah,
You ain't
sorry,
know.
sorry, Miss Jackson. But anyway, but yeah, like it's just like that being pushed to the wayside now. Now they can focus on now they're focusing on playing football, and now it's taken a while, but that win against us, it might have kind of kick started a little bit. So now I still think they're a long ways away from saving Mike McDaniel's job,
Yeah.
but at the very least, they're having fun, and they're playing with some confidence. Which is honestly, at the end of the day, is all you want to see from that team. Have fun, play with some confidence, and getting a win like that against Buffalo is huge for a team like Miami's confidence.
Yes, indeed. And to answer Dwayne's questions, yes, David A. Chain is one hell of a back. Devon A. Chain, excuse me. He's one hell of a back.
He,
Especially
he might be he might be the most underrated back in the league.
going back to Dwayne, the New York Giants, because look, let me comment on this before you go, BRF, or whoever's going to go. New York, every quarterback is not freaking Josh Allen. Stop running damn Jackson Dart to death. What the hell y'all got going on? Stop. That's enough. This dude that had 2 concussions in the last 3 weeks.
I'm telling you.
What got going on? Y'all need to get Brian Daboll the hell up out of there, bro. I don't trust that dude. I'm just being real. He's only been in the game a couple weeks, and he's already having these injuries. So, you already have him in concussion protocol. That's inexcusable. Stop running him to death. I understand he wants to run when the pocket breaks down, but tell him, get down. No. You don't want to hurt him before you get into the thick of it. Damn. Enough's enough. You already down your running back. You don't want to be down your quarterback too. So PSP, I will say Jacksonville is by far is the losers of the week. Yes, that's very, very fair.
They blew a 29-10 lead.
Yeah. Backup quarterback.
Against the backup against Davis Mills.
Yeah.
Hey.
I think there was a lot of losers this week. There's just, man, I thought Atlanta, as much as don't get me wrong, they almost pulled that game off and it went into overtime. But I think Atlanta, I'm really disappointed in Atlanta. You had Jacksonville just completely cave into, in the fourth quarter. You had the Bears too. Or I'm sorry, the Giants completely cave against the Bears. Caleb Williams is kind of like Tim Tebow at this point. Like the first 3.5 quarters, like he is like a toddler out there playing football, and then all of a sudden, like he puts together a couple of drives and they somehow win the game. Carolina coming off a week after beating Green Bay, loses to the Saints. This goes to my big thing, dude. Everybody after the Packers had beaten Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers and Love, through 22 completions in a row or whatever the hell it was, he was the LaFleur and him for a whole week. It was nothing but, everybody was riding them like they were the greatest thing ever. And then they go and lose to Carolina, and it's like everybody's got to be fired again. It's just like, God, everybody in the sports in the sports media needs to be on SSRIs, because I can't imagine being that emotionally vulnerable week to week. This is the NFL. This is parody.
It's week to week.
It's week to week. This is really everybody. I had friends in our fans football league chat bitching about the Panthers loss for last week to the Packers. Now, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of criticism that needed to go around for that loss, but it's not like the Carolina Panthers are the Jets. They're a 500 football team.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, this is the NFL, man. This is the NFL. Even one of these little sorts. That's how come when you come outside, you got to come to play every single week. Remember what Urban Meyer said? Playing in the NFL is like playing Alabama every single week. So yeah. So and big ups to PSP, Caleb Williams, and Bo Nix are the Tim Tebow of the NFL. Basically, if you really want people.
I will say the Denver offense. What a turd against the Raiders. What a turd! Like I was watching that guy. I got a couple glimpses of that game, and I'm just like, because the Raiders stink. Like, they're not good either, and I'm just like, man, and they struggled to get 10 points. Struggled. So, but again, this goes to show, I think the expectations that we have, that a lot of people have in like sports media and everybody that decides to grab some podcast equipment these days, is like that you're supposed to be Jesus Christ every week on the field. And it's like, that's just not reality. Like, I can go back to my boy, Tom Brady. He had plenty of shit weeks and made everybody's bitching about Jordan Love's terrible throws. And I'm like, I could go back and look at, and there was plenty.
Rodgers, especially Brett Favre at the beginning of his damn career.
Yeah.
He made Mike Hogan want to pull out the rest of his hair.
Dude, I'm just a fan. And after about 15 years of him throwing stupid shit, I was ready to pull out. But this is week to week, though. We had the Arizona Cardinals. They went and just beat the crap out of Dallas. And Dallas, if they just added some pieces on defense, which they did, and I'm sure you guys covered and everything, borderline playoff team, and Arizona go and beats them with Jacoby Brissett, and then Seattle goes and just whips that ass. So, this is
beat them like they stole some.
This is week to week. This is the NFL, which stands for not for long. So, and that's week to week.
BRF.
Oh man, this week has definitely been like if you ever wanted to put like if you wanted to put like a week schedule beside the word like parody, this would be one of those weeks when you were rid of the last couple of weeks, like what Flash was talking about. Arizona getting that humongous win in Dallas, like basically dictating that game and dominating from first quarter to fourth quarter, and then Seattle just absolutely just beating them like they stole something. DeMarcus Lawrence scoring 2 fumble recovery touchdowns on defense. I think that's the first time that's happened in God knows how long. But I'm gonna single out. I gotta single out 2 people on this one. Lord, I hate to do it to him, but I got to do it to him because as much as I support him, I gotta get on their butts when they're not doing well. Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson. I'm just gonna put it out there. Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson. Raheem Morris, it's like he's never going to get the hang of his clock management issues. I didn't think it was that big a deal, but I kind of understand where people was coming from. You know what I'm saying? You call that timeout with like about 30 seconds to go, and then you know what I'm saying, you get the ball back, maybe you score again before the half. And Zach Robinson is going to be the sole reason why people want them to get rid of Michael Penix. Zach Robinson is going to be the sole reason why people already want the Falcons the guy. He's not the guy, and I'm like, have y'all been seeing Zach Robinson's play calling like this entire season? Like the Atlanta Falcons with Drake London and Kyle Pitts and Darnell Mooney and Bijan Robinson.
You had this problem. How long has he been the offensive coordinator for the Falcons?
This is his second year.
We've had this problem now for longer than he's been there. Kyle Pitts is like a meme at this point. So what's the problem?
I don't know. If I knew it, I would tell you. I don't know.
Is it like, are we at the point where it's like for some odd reason they just can't figure it out? It's like the Bears like trying to get a competent quarterback. It's just not a thing. You know,
I'm going to be honest with you. I have to be honest. I really think that if Mike McDaniels becomes available during that time, during next year, I think we need to holler at him as far as, you know, having the creativity. I really think that you have to have. That's the reason why I wanted Ben Johnson, because when you have a litany of weapons like this, you have to be able to balance it in there. You have to be able to balance it, and I don't think they found that balance yet. I mean,
But here's my thing though. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Sean, you know, he's out of the Sean McVay family tree. You know what I'm saying? Not all coaches, they're not all the same. But you would think, being out of the Sean McVay tree of coaches, to know the scheme he runs, and look at what Sean McVay is still doing. This man is still one of the best play callers in football. But you would think he would have an understanding of that offense and would be able to just, you know, adapt to the talent that he has there. You know what I'm saying? It was like all you need is a quarterback. They start 6-3 last year with Kirk Cousins. We thinking, you know, Kirk Cousins done locked up comeback player of the year. Falcons should run away with the division. They can't win a division. They finished 8-9. A lot of that was Kirk Cousins getting hurt and lying about it. But even still. And then this year, you saw Michael Penix those last few games. You got a good understanding of how they're gonna work best as far as being able to run the offense, push the ball down the field, get everybody involved. And it's like the creativity he showed with Mike those last games coming into this season, he's not showing that. Now I will say this though, I'm not gonna give Mike a pass because he did look bad today. He looked bad today. Did the receivers help him? No. But he did not look good today. And he's had some games like that this year where he didn't look good. Albeit he's still a rookie. And, you know, growing pains. This is still technically his first full season as starter. He is still practically a rookie in this league. He hasn't played a full season of games yet. So to the people that are saying he's not the guy, hold up a side by side with him and Matt Ryan in their first full season as a quarterback, and then come back and talk to me.
All right, I'm gonna play a little bit devil's advocate here because I usually make the same argument for all the Jordan Love naysayers. Nick Lucas, if you're watching, shout out to you, buddy. Are the stats lying?
No. I mean, because you got to think, Matt Ryan through the same amount of games, he wasn't a 60% passer.
Okay.
He wasn't making. He was good as far as not turning the ball over. And here's the biggest thing: the offensive coordinator then, which I think was Mike Mularkey, the offensive coordinator then knew what he had behind him in Michael Turner and fed him. Zach Robinson's not feeding these guys like he needs to be.
Yeah, but does the how do I put this? Okay. Do we remember when Jimmy Garoppolo was still the 49ers quarterback and then Purdy took over?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He was kind of in a smattering of games. And oddly enough, they had similar stats, but the offense flowed better under Purdy and just looked different?
Yes.
Is it this one of those situations where like, yeah, okay, he's got the stats, but does the offense flow? Now, I'm not here to say that like again, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I am not sold, neither am I like out on Penix as the Falcons' future franchise quarterback. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to come at this from a little bit of a different angle.
The San Francisco 49ers have Kyle Shanahan.
I will
Okay.
say this.
Yeah, but
They
then
have he's a way. It's still a lot to do with having a competent play caller, which Zach Robinson has continually shown he has not been a competent play caller. He's predictable. He is like they know what he's doing. They know because I mean I've said this time and time again. I don't have a problem with them running pistol. The problem is they show no creativity out of the pistol. So eventually, when teams pick up on you, if you don't adapt, they're going to eat you alive, and that's what's going on with them right now.
okay. I
One
guess my
thing,
counter to that would be, yeah, they had Kyle Shanahan, but again, the offense wasn't flowing with that same offensive coordinator. They just needed to switch to a different quarterback to make it flow better. But it doesn't work. Doesn't seem to work under Cousins, or I mean, Penix seems to do it a little bit better. But I think to counter your say, like, yes, they do have to feed their running backs, absolutely. But
Yeah, that's
but to
why. Yeah,
win,
that's why.
but
That's
to
why when
win,
people. No, go ahead.
but to win, it's like Detroit. Detroit and Atlanta are built very similarly.
Very
You
similarly.
have to let it's, but Detroit knows you have to, like, Goff has to be elevated and has, at the end of the day, the quarterback is going to win you the football game. So if so you can sit there and you can feed Robinson and feed what's his face, the other kid.
Tyler Drill.
Thank you. All day long, but at the end of the day in the playoffs, who's going to have to go win you a football game? It's going to have to be Penix. So you have to be able to, now whether his play calling is, I cannot speak to that at all right now. I'd have to go back and really sit and watch and put my coaching hat on and sit and watch a Falcons game. But you have to elevate this offense and this passing offense, because if you don't, you're not going to get anywhere.
I don't know how to react to that. I don't know how to react to that. We getting a little wild with some of these comments. We're getting a little wild with some of these comments.
y'all wilding. Let me.
Am I reading that correctly?
I don't know, bro. Y'all wilding these damn comments, bro. What the fuck?
I know, right?
Y'all wilding these comments.
How do
bro.
we wait?
Yeah, don't read that out loud, bro.
I'm telling you, we're gonna have to mute some of these folks of what it look like.
God damn.
Okay.
That's
What's up, Jonathan?
No.
No?
It's just horrible. Just horrible. No.
What?
No.
You know me. I have a sick sense of humor. You see some of the shit that I send you guys.
This is true. This is true.
But
one more thing though. I get what you saying, Flash. I completely get what you saying, because that offense hasn't been working with either Cousins or Penix as of late. Michael Penix has had to bring this team back and has tied or taken the lead late multiple times.
Okay.
So the stats might not be the greatest stats, but he has shown in the fourth quarter that this last week against New England, led him down the field, threw a touchdown. Should have tied the game. Kicker missed the extra point. Drove him down the field against Indy this week. Scored a touchdown. Got the 2-point conversion. Took the lead. So it's not like he's not capable, because he's done it. The Washington Commanders game last year, where he threw the touchdown to Kyle Pitts and tied the game up. He has done it time and time again. He's either Tampa Bay this year, this week 1, scored the touchdown, took the lead late in the fourth quarter. He has shown a knack to be clutch in late game situations. They got to get more creative with the play calling. They're not letting what the
So
reason why.
is it early game playing calling? Is it not being able to script the beginning of a game? Like maybe they should go old school Mike Holmgren, Bill Walsh, where they script the first 15 plays to get a rhythm going. Because that's and maybe they do that now and they're just bad at it. I don't know, but it seems to me the offense really, if the running game doesn't get going early in the game, they can get nothing going. And that's
Well,
the problem.
well, and also we have to look at, and we also have to look at the fact now that wide receiver room now is Drake London and everybody else, because Darnell Mooney has really regressed. Granted, he's been hurt, but even still, when he's on the field, he's not playing nowhere near like he did last year. They just have a lot to work to do in the offseason. At 3-6, I'm not even worried about the playoffs. We're not getting there. Focus on these last 8 games. See what you have. Now here's the thing that's gonna tick me off. What I'm about to say.
Yeah.
What I've said it time and time again. The Atlanta Falcons are the biggest enigma in the National Football League. Watch these fools go and run off 4 in a row just to tick me off. Because that's how big of an because that's how big of an enigma they are.
Yeah,
but here's the thing:
and do just enough to keep
just enough to shut everybody up and keep their job. But they don't have a first round draft pick this going into 2026 because they traded it to the Rams. I would have done that trade too because it got you James Pierce Jr. and Xavier Watts. So that's still a good trade on my part. But people are going to be like, oh my gosh, they're 3-6 and they don't have a first round draft pick. They got James Pierce Jr. with it, and then they turned that third rounder into a Xavier Watts. It's okay, y'all. Chill out. They just need to focus on getting the right people on this offense, whether it's coaching, personnel, all that.
Yes,
Get through the last 8 games, whether you make the playoffs or not, and then just do some soul searching and see what you need to do. Because I'm seriously on the fence of if they don't make the playoffs, at least Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson, I think, are both gone. But I feel like they would fire Jeff Ulbrich too because Raheem brought him in too. But I think if anybody deserves to stay, it's Jeff Ulbrich with what he's done for that defense this year.
Exactly.
I think the defense has been fine. Like I said it a couple weeks ago before they made me look silly about like how I thought they were built for a long playoff run, but I didn't. I thought they would build off of about the win when they beat Buffalo. I thought they would build off of that win, and they just haven't. I thought the offense would take a leap, but it would progress in a positive way, especially the passing game. And I just again, I don't. It's just not there.
Oh my god!
Oh, I can't do this shit.
Jesus Lord. We thought the outside comments were bad enough. Apparently, the inside comments are just as bad.
Hey, I just match the crazy. That's all I do. I'm just matching
Jesus.
Let's move on, y'all.
That's all I'm doing. I'm playing around in the YouTube comments here. It's just all right.
Boy,
I got it handled. It's all good.
I've heard of matching energy, but good Lord.
Okay.
Hot damn.
All right.
Hot damn. You got
Lord.
the way down in the damn comments, bro.
Boy, what?
Bro. Oh, Lord. Look, I'm not putting that shit
Are we about to turn into Fun Night Sunday night now somehow?
Real quick. Who the fraud of the week? I gotta say the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, Jack. It's definitely it's Jacksonville.
I've thought Jacksonville has been a fraud all year. I didn't think they were a good football team. I thought it was one of those moments that their record was, I know the old Bill Parcells thing, you are what your record is. But I think that's kind of a little bit of a lie. I've thought all along that they're not a good football team. I think Trevor Lawrence. I'm starting to side with Champ. I'm Trevor Lawrence is just an average quarterback. He's nothing more and he's nothing less. One week he'll look serviceable and he'll be like, all right, well, yeah, but overall, is he a franchise quarterback? I'm starting to think not. I think they've been a fraud all year. So I'm not. I 100% agree.
Okay.
Um,
Make sure if you're in the comments and make sure if you're here, you're watching, you like and subscribe. We'd love to have you so we love to entertain you, especially my main man Flash. As we
especially
know,
them Wolves.
yeah, especially with the
gotta
Wolves.
entertain them furries. Gotta entertain them.
Yeah. Just gonna go to Thailand, you'll be all right.
Nah, furries.
Keep it up, guys. In the comments, you're gonna make BRF blush. It's hilarious when he blushes. It's really funny.
Boy, but man, I'm too dark for that. Y'all won't see it. I promise.
But yeah.
I'm gonna say my fraud of the week is the Buffalo Bills. That's my fraud of the week. I don't understand how you I understand. Look, I understand that my Patriots went into Miami and always struggled, but I feel like if you're supposed to be a Super Bowl contender and you're Josh Allen, who should be a perennial MVP candidate every year from now on, like you can't go and shit the bed like that. Like that's like you can't because right now you're 2 games behind the Patriots. Which
2 games.
And they don't look to be slowing down either.
Hell no.
Nope. No, they are not. I am starting to get on the side of BRF where, I mean, he said it last week that Drake May is an MVP candidate, and I said not yet.
He just beat Baker Mayfield in his house.
He did not play great today, but he did enough.
He did enough.
He did enough, and I'm gonna say this right now. His deep ball, top. I mean, we're up there with Josh Allen on how pretty that deep ball is. Like you watch his deep ball, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful deep ball. If they get him somebody like a real deep threat, the league's in trouble.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, man. We're gonna move forward to the media potatoes with BRF and his fans in the comments.
I appreciate having fans, but damn.
But this is a question for you, BRF, because is the MVP race? Excuse me, is the Heisman race bid this year? Because right now we don't have a 3,000-yard passer. We only have 1,000-yard rusher at this point, and it's looking just very, very mid. Like I said, right now we're in 10 weeks. We're in 10 weeks within the season. We only have 1,000 yards rusher, and that's the running back from Nebraska at this point. We don't have a 3,000-yard passer at this point. We don't have anybody over 30 touchdowns at this point. So is this Heisman race kind of mid at this point in time?
Can I be completely honest with you, though? These are the Heisman races that are fun, though, because they're unpredictable. You don't know how they're going to go. I mean, from a number standpoint, if people want to say it's a mid race numbers wise, yeah, it's a mid race. Who's win like who? Okay, who are they going to invite to New York for the Heisman? You can't give me all 4 concrete names right now who they're going to invite to New York. There's at least 8, 10, 12 guys right now that if they got hot, they could get an invite. I mean, it's just these are the Heisman races that are the most fun in my opinion when you can't predict, when it's not like, oh, well, there's you got like 3 or 4 just dominant outstanding guys, they're going to get the invite. These are the races that are fun because I mean, you look at a guy like Mendoza from Indiana. You look at who else is there? Throw a wide receiver out there. If you want to put Jeremiah Smith in or Carnell Tate from Ohio State. If you want to put our boy Gunnar Stockton in from Georgia. If you want to put in, oh gosh, there's like I said, there's a bunch. If you want to say I know at one point, I don't think Sellers was in it from South Carolina at one point. He's kind of fell off. Carson Beck's fell off. Um, these are the races that are fun when they're unpredictable like this. Like it's going to go to conference championship weekend to really establish who's going to go to New York. I think these are the fun races. So from a numbers wise, yeah, it might be mid, but these are the most fun races as far as I'm concerned. This has been fun. I like it when there's complete unpredictability and there's not like a handful of guys that just stand out. So these are the best races for me. How I kept a straight face through that segment, reading what he just wrote, just baffles me.
Exactly. God damn.
Professional professionalism at its finest.
Professional courtesy is a must. Good God, have mercy. I got to stop hanging out with y'all on a regular basis. I got to stop hanging out with y'all.
Woo.
I don't understand how the hell did I end up with the most out of pocket friends in the world? Good God.
Oh, dude, this is nothing. Like this
Well, I
is
know,
this is hilarious to me. I love this.
this is some crazy shit going on. Let's get right into it. I'm glad Nick Freeze ain't here. He be having a damn.
Oh boy, show be over. Show be over. Cancel the show. Ooh, we get a strike so fast.
They gonna kick us off the damn app.
Ooh, we get a strike
Y'all
so
be
fast.
scared of the damn comments. Y'all gonna get us kicked off the damn app, bro.
Shout out Nick Freeze Sport for you,
Nick
boys.
Freeze,
Boy, we get a strike so fast. Oh my god.
you know, that was. We got to invite Nick Freeze back one time. But
We do.
we really do. But for right now, Indiana Hoosiers. Look, man, let's just all the way. Think about one football player, and that's Michael Penix when he was up there, and then Antoine Randall L. And then for the rest of the part, I think about Isaiah Thomas. I think about that undefeated season that they had in Indiana back in the day when he was still the coach, when Bobby Knight was still the coach. Yeah, I think about basketball, but now Kurt Signetti, he's making me think more about the football aspect of it. So can they do Dakota Rose, man? Can they complete their story? This is really a two-part question right now. Can they complete their story, and can they beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship? Especially after that lackluster performance that they had last night against Pitt State. The floor is yours, BRF.
Well, I can answer. I'll answer that second question first. No, no. Ohio State is in. They're in there. Ohio State right now is in. They're in their built different era. So no, I don't think. I think Ohio State should be the front runner favorite to win the whole thing this year. I think the only teams that got a shot at Ohio State are like the cream of the crop when you talk about the elite teams honestly I would probably say like a I guess if you want to throw the three SEC teams that are probably the top three SEC teams that are going to probably make the CFP, your A&Ms, your Bamas, your Georgias, your teams like that can match up talent for talent and go blow for blow with a team like Ohio State. Indiana's one of those situations where they get like I don't know, like I don't think I don't I don't think Indiana. I don't know. I'll say this though. Fernando Mendoza is good. He's a talent. And Elijah Surratt, if y'all don't know the name by now, he's the wide receiver. Pay attention to him. He is like that. But I just feel like from a talent perspective, man for man, I don't think I don't think Ohio State will lose to Indiana right now. I think they could, depending on their seeding, I think they could possibly make a run. I think they got a, depending on the seeding, I could see them as a sneaky semifinal, final 14 with the right seeding to get the right draw. They could possibly sneak a semifinal. I just think right now you look at the team, you look at the Ohio States of the world, the A&Ms, the Bamas, the Georgias. When you look at the teams like that, you'd have to bring everything and then some to even remotely hang with a team like that. I think out of sheer will alone, I think Indiana will give Ohio State a game, but I don't think they're beating them.
Yeah, you think you're giving them a game, but they're not beating them?
Yeah, they're giving them a game, but I don't think Indiana's beating them.
If they were to beat them, do you think they win the national championship?
No. If they would have beat Ohio, like let's say for shits and giggles, you knock Ohio State out. I'm still picking A&M, Bama, or Georgia. I'm picking one of them 3 SEC schools.
Is this a situation where, like, remember when Notre Dame ended up facing Alabama in the national title game, and this is one of those situations where it's like, yeah, they look great, and they're almost they may go undefeated or whatever, but at the end of the day, they're just going to get squashed. Because
I don't think it's that
bad. No, but I mean, they struggled with Penn State today or on Saturday, and I'm looking at what Ohio State did to Penn State a week ago, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it was close after the second at halftime, but Penn State didn't score anything in the second half, so
indeed not.
I finally read the comment. I hate y'all so much.
I'm sitting over here trying to keep a straight face. So
I'm not trying to keep a straight face at all. I
can't stand
keep a straight face because the shit that I have seen today I'm done.
I just want to thank you guys for coming in the comments, because this has been something that I've been really wanting for a while, as people in the comments. So please come back anytime. This has been quite hilarious.
I'm trying to keep a straight face right about now. I'm looking right at the screen. I'm not even looking over there. So I'm like, don't look.
BRF has no idea what he's supposed to do right now. He is.
No, let me tell you something. I hold on. I read those last like 3 or 4 comments. I read them like throughout the entire time of me speaking, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna finish what I'm saying, and then I'm gonna be like, you know what?
We salute y'all. We appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Although I better see some subscriber numbers go up, though. You can't be coming in here talking about furries and stuff like that and then not subscribe. So you better hit that button.
You can't be coming up in the comments talking about, you can't be coming in the comments talking about you want me and I don't know what you are, and the subscriber numbers ain't coming up.
Yeah, and Jonathan Ryan, I just clapped for you, so you better subscribe. Do something over there. You better hit that button.
What the hell you did? I'm gonna see you after the show. I'm gonna see you. You after the show, partner. Me and you gonna have some words after that. Anything you want to add, Flash?
I just think we're at the mercy of Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama right now. I think that's the college football world right now, and that's the world we live in, whether we like it or not. If somebody else outside of those 3 just happens to win the national title, then I think yay. But that is the reality, and that kind of has been the reality of the last couple of years, and I think that will continue to be the reality for a while now. It's going to be those 3 teams, and that's kind of it for right now. So as cute as Indiana is right now, and I'm rooting for them to topple, the whole, the 3-headed monster. I just don't think at the end of the day it's going to happen.
Yeah. Quick question, real quick before we move forward. And we talk about Alabama. Do y'all think right now that these big time coaching jobs in college football are they the jobs to go to at this point, or should they go the Cignetti route or the coach from Vanderbilt route and try to build something for a couple years and then see what they can put into the college football playoff? Like, let's say if Coach Prime gets fired from Colorado, which I doubt that'll happen. But let's say he gets fired from Colorado. Should a coach explore that option and say, look, I got something right here that I could build? Coach Prime, for lack of a better term, he has the players here, but he doesn't have a developmental system here. Let's see what I can do here, build it up for a few years, and then see if I could, get us to the college football playoff rather than going to Penn State, Florida, LSU or either Auburn, one of those schools where they expecting your behind to get there almost like that. What do you guys' thoughts about that?
Honestly, if let's just say Deion got fired from Colorado, not going to happen. But I personally loved what he did at Jackson State. Take a small college, but it could be a historically black college too. It doesn't matter, but build something out of it. The one thing, like you're right, when it comes to Colorado, he hasn't built the infrastructure yet of that, of that university and that program. I was talking about earlier when it comes to the infrastructure of, NFL teams being able to weather the storm of getting, their OCs and their DCs poached and a lot of other coaching talent. He's not quite there yet. Now, whether that happens or not, I don't know. That's the thing of, can you be Deion Sanders and get that kind of coaching and infrastructure talent? You would think so, but that doesn't happen in a year or two. That happens over a long span of time. So if I'm looking at, if I'm a coach and wanting to start out, honestly, I would go I think SMU is a classic example. SMU, back in the 70s and 80s was, big time college football. And then because of, the scandals in the 80s, it kind of fell off. But I would go to a small, if let's just say I had a pick of the litter of where I wanted to go as a college football coach. I would go to a program that has a lot of good donors that you don't typically know about. And I would build something there. That's what I would
SMU.
Like SMU. Yes. Yeah. I brought this up before, but it's that old white money. For lack of am I wrong?
You ain't wrong, guy.
I ain't wrong. So I'm just saying,
damn. You could have said, that oil money, been political, but look who I'm talking to. I can't talk about politically correct.
I'm not politically correct. You're never going to get me to be that way.
Yeah, that oil money.
That's what I would do, though. But you can go. There's plenty of colleges like that have donors that just want to blow money to make. Because if you can build something somewhere, and you don't have to be a perennial, you don't have to be Alabama, Georgia, whatever.
Texas A&M, Mike Elko.
But you can build a solid program, which is something, I mean, look, prior to this year, look at a university like Wisconsin. Yeah. Wisconsin has been a quality football program since the early 90s, since Barry Alvarez took over. And this year, even though for some odd reason they're keeping that fucking head coach, but that's a whole nother story. That's a quality football program that was built over time. They were always in contention for, the Big Ten title. They had moments and years where we would beat, Ohio State when they were the big bad, or Michigan. But they weren't like national title contenders on a year in year out basis. They had moments like 93 and a couple of years in the 2000s, but overall they've just been a really good football program. And that's something that I would want to do, because I mean, to build and then, if you want to catapult your career off and go off into one of the, big time schools and go win national titles, that's one thing. But that's something I would do. I think that would be more fun.
Yes, indeed. Anything you want to add, BRF Sports?
I think, honestly, I just feel like it just depends on the opportunities and what the coaches would feel like is best for them as far as what the fit is. I mean, I feel like a coaching candidate is going to go wherever they feel the fit is best. I mean, in a perfect world, I mean, of course, you want to go. I mean, you want to build a resume. You want to build a resume. So off the bat, you want to go you're going to want to go someplace smaller and maybe try to build something. Kind of build. Just build like a factory there. Whether it's like you're known for producing good quarterbacks, or whether you're known for producing running backs, or your offensive line, or your wide receivers, or your defense, just wanting to go somewhere and kind of get a jump, build the resume offhand before you want to go to someplace like a major school, So I just feel like at the end of the day, it's about fit, and as far as what that coach wants to do and how that coach wants to establish himself and build his brand for the future. Because I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, you want to go to one of those power five schools. At the end of the day, that's the goal. That's always a goal for a college football, like for a college coach. Um, but I do feel like though. I think you might start seeing that more when you like, particularly when you see a guy like Kurt Signetti and what he's done at Indiana, like really over the last couple of years, and turning him into like
A program.
turning them into but like he's basically making a basketball school a football school is what he's doing, and I mean it's a really cool sight to see. Um, but I think it's more about the fit and how that coach wants to build his brand more than anything. I feel like a lot of times sometimes a lot of these coaches will just shoot straight for the major schools. I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. I think it's a higher success rate if they did want it to go to like something not as major, possibly build or something. I think your success rate might be a little higher without having all that added pressure of like the boosters and the fans wanting you to win a national championship in like 3 years. You not having to worry about that pressure. You can just go in there, win ball games, and establish something, and then kind of go from there. Let your resume speak for itself. Or one of these bigger schools eventually come to call. Like if like say you go to like a what I'm saying, like if you're at a Utah or like a BYU or like something like that, and you go, and even though you might not be contending for national championships, you're going to bowl games every year. You're going to not just bowl games. You're going to New Year's Six
Yeah.
bowls.
Yeah.
You're going to New Year's Six bowls, and you're winning and you're competing. And I think that above all would kind of really help build your brand and build your resume to ultimately get one of those big schools. So, but yeah, like I said, I think it's ultimately about fit, and it's ultimately about what that coach wants to do for himself off the bat, as far as wanting to build his brand and build his name up, into ultimately getting one of those bigger schools. So I think you may see coaches go the smaller school route more, just to kind of establish themselves. I think you might start seeing that. So shout out to Kurt Signetti at Indiana and other guys that have gone to smaller schools and kind of like really built a name for themselves. So I think you might see that a little more.
Yes, indeed. Don't forget about the guys who went from HBCUs to the big time schools. Remember, Eddie George went from Tennessee State to Bowling Green. So
True.
yeah, then don't be surprised if you see within the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years, Deshaun Jackson. You know he's the coach of Delaware State. They're on their way to the playoff. They're 63 right about now. In fact, they're going to televise one of Delaware State's games pretty soon. So him and Michael Vick just met in a football game as coaches. As you already know, they were former teammates. So not just small time coaches that wasn't big names. These are well known NFL coaches, NFL players, excuse me, Pro Bowlers, all pros that are becoming coaches at this point. So don't be surprised you see an influx of these coaches coming from these small HBCU schools to Power Five schools. Don't be surprised about that. Uh, real quick. This is a yes or no 60-second answer. Um, is the Tide capable of making a deep playoff run?
Yes.
Yes, they are very capable.
Like I said, this is Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama's world, and we're just living in it.
What about Texas A&M? They're number 3. Remember that now.
I think they're the best team, not Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia. I think I think Texas A&M would beat Indiana on a neutral field right now.
Okay. Do you think Texas A&M could beat Ohio State?
Marcel Reed is that guy. Marcel Reed is that guy. I feel like if you have a quarterback like that who can just create and make something out of nothing, you have a shot against anybody. So I think Marcel Reed is one of those ones that can beat any powerhouse school on any given day because you having the game plan for them, and he is really hard to game plan.
Him and Lenore Sellers. Unfortunately, Lenore plays for South Carolina right about now. So yeah, a free Lenore Sellers, free him because
Trust me. There's a. I think what is he, a junior this year?
I think he's a junior this year.
There's a team in Florida they're gonna be calling for him after Carson Bentley.
Probably so, and I think they'll end up saying the U is back for like 2 weeks, and then hey, thus far the U has blown two good quarterbacks. They've blown well, I won't say two good quarterbacks because Cam Ward, he was that dude. Not so much Carson Beck. I just knew he was going to eventually sell out the game, and lo and behold, he did. So yeah, don't be surprised. But Lenore Sellers, to his credit, he turned down $15 million in NIL money because his dad told him to. He turned down $15 million. His dad told him to stay at South Carolina.
I hate to tell Daddy this, but I don't think he's gonna make that call back to back years.
No, I don't think he's gonna make that call back to back years because they might offer him $20 million in Miami.
That's what I'm saying.
So, but can you imagine $20 million in Miami? Woo, that's nasty.
That's scary work.
Yeah, it is scary work. Real quick, gone in 60 seconds. Shout out to Nicolas Cage. Can this upcoming game be Arch Manning's redeeming story if he's able to win this game against Georgia in Athens? Is this his redeeming story if he wins this game? Real quick.
It could be, but if Georgia's starting to wake up, I feel bad for Arch. if they starting to wake up, I feel bad for Arch because hey, it's one thing being a backup and not having to worry about nothing when they come to your backyard. But when you're the guy and you have to go to Sanford Stadium for the first time, that's a completely different animal.
Yeah, I really believe that as well. Yeah. But hot damn. I believe that as well. But there has to be. I don't know. I hope that these teams don't overstate him at this point in time. I like Arch, and I want him to succeed. But I really believe that us in the media, and I'm guilty of that as well. I'm guilty because I thought he was going to be just like his uncles at a certain point. Because his uncles got off to a bad start, but as time progressed, they got eventually better. But I'm hoping that he eventually comes around. I'm really hoping that.
I mean, we all thought this, and I don't think we had any reason not to think it. Like he played well last year when he did play, so we expected that just to kind of continue into this year, if not better. So I think it's been more of a surprise that he hasn't played. Again, we've all thought that he's hurt. There have been other pundits that have said the same thing, that there's a definite problem here. Whether that's shoulder or whatever, something isn't right. So, I don't think I don't think putting our faith in him was wrong. I think the faith in him was valid. I just, do we need to see more from him than just a win against Georgia? Yeah, like you need to. You're in the top 10 now. You're back. You squeaked into the top 10. But now you need to build on this. Like you need to go and you need to beat Georgia, and then you need to make the college football playoffs, and you need to play well in the playoffs. Not to win a title, but you got to play well to kind of get the stink off of how this year has gone. So let's see what happens. Like I don't even expect if they go into Georgia and they lose, but Arch Manning plays really well. I think even that's a positive.
Yeah. One thing to note is that Carson Beck threw 3 interceptions last year against Texas, and we still won the game. That's one very important thing to note. and we beat them in
That's what
their
happens.
and we
So
beat them in their own backyard. So we beat them in Texas. So
that's what happens. That's what happens when you have Jalen Walker on your defense.
Jalen Walker. Hey, thank you for drafting him, Atlanta. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get it back into this MVP talk. Is Jonathan Taylor the MVP this year in the NFL?
I said it earlier. He's in my top three. It's him. It's Drake May. It's Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford's my pick.
Flashman.
Yeah, I said it earlier in the show that when we were going to kind of circle back around to this, and I'm starting to think that as long as the Colts are, a 1-2 seed and he keeps playing, this way, I don't see why not. In fact, I honestly think I think between shit. I mean, I guess you could say Stafford just based off the fact that he's a quarterback, but I don't know. I think Jonathan Taylor has a really good argument to be the front runner for the MVP this year right now. I really
he does. He does. He does. He
I
does
really
he does when you consider the percent of the offense that comes from him. Yeah, he's got a really good argument.
Yes, indeed. Right now, he has 1,100 yards, 15 touchdowns on the ground, and has 2 touchdowns through the air. And not only that, he has 30 receptions and 200 yards receiving. So he's already over 1,300 yards as far as yards from scrimmage is concerned.
this
And
is like a Marshall Faulk,
Kurt Warner type of year.
Tomlinson type. Well, I don't know about LaDainian. Yeah, but we're getting to that point. He won't quite reach the receptions that like a Tomlinson had or Falk had, but still, like this is that type of year.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, I believe that wholeheartedly. And to the second part of this question, if JT is not the MVP, then who is? I really think this. They should consider Matthew Stafford. I'm being a homer right now because he is a Georgia Bulldog, just like BRF said. But also JSN. Also JSN, because he already has 1,000 yards. He already has 1,000 yards receptions, and it's been 9 games. Only 2 players have done that, and that is Justin Jefferson and I forget the guy's name from what is the guy's name from the San Diego Chargers back in the day. Hold on, let me look. I think it was Wes Chandler. Wes Chandler. So only Wes Chandler and Justin Jefferson have ever played at least 9 games and had over 1,000 yards. And he already has that at this point. And I don't know about him winning the Triple Crown Championship because, as we all know, Devontae Adams, he is leading the league in touchdowns at this point. But there's a lot of things that has to happen in order for him to win that MVP. I really believe that they would have to at least have the best record in the league in order to do so. Any thoughts on JSN?
Man, I mean, yeah, I guess I'm just looking at it. He's having such a great year. I don't know. It's real. It's 1 and 1A right now, but I mean, maybe you're right as this shakes out. But man, Drake May's having a really good year. Holy shit! Like he really is. Like wow.
I think because I think he's still leading the league in completion percentage.
He's
But I know he was going into the Atlanta game last week. He was leading the entire league in completion percentage because he was like the only one over 70%.
He is second behind Goff. Goff is at 74.
Yeah.
Ooh,
damn.
Good Lord.
Can we have a conversation? Really? I remember when completion percentage wasn't really that damn important back when we was kids.
Well, no, but the bar used to be 60.
Yeah, bar used to be 60. But
now if you're 65, I feel like.
Yeah, if you were 65, you was doing your thing. But when I think Drew Brees ruined that for a lot of guys because
it wasn't it wasn't just Drew. It's Drew and Aaron Rodgers.
And Brady.
Matt Ryan was 67 to 69% at his peak too.
Yeah.
So you got to look at. I feel like it's in terms of completion percentage, it's probably those three.
Yeah. I believe those three ruined it for everybody right about now. So yeah, when you talk about completion percentage, more so Drew Brees, because I remember if you had a 70% pass, you had a 70% completion rating. That had only happened one time in history, as with Kenny Anderson. But with Drew Brees and Matt Ryan and guys like that start getting 60, 70%, 69, 70% of it, it was like, wow, that was something to behold. That was something way much to behold. So yeah, that's the completion percentage. I blame it. Hey, how ironic! Our generation of quarterbacks ruined that for the future generation. Because I remember when 60 used to be the mark. As long as you was completing 60, you was good. But 69, 70 is up there. So
Jared Goff is 74.
yeah,
Yeah.
74%. I'm looking at everything right now as I'm doing it. So and like I said, and when you look at Matthew Stafford, the last 6 games, he has 20 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So he getting up there. He getting up there. Getting up there. Getting up there. And look, just find out what next Sunday night football game is going to be. It's going to be the Lions versus the Eagles. Who y'all think take it?
Ooh, that's a good one. I I'm gonna take if it's in like I said, that's one of those games where it's like whoever's got home field, I'll probably pick. I think it's in Philly, so I'm picking the Eagles.
Flashman.
Sorry, say it again. What?
So next Sunday's Sunday night football game is going to be the Eagles versus the Lions. Who you taking that on the NFL game of the week?
Eagles, Lions. Where is it?
I think it's in Philadelphia.
I'm going to go the old fogey route. I'm just going to go Philly at home. I think that we're going to see over the next couple of weeks. We got Philly and Green Bay tomorrow night. I know everybody's out on Green Bay after the loss to above 500 football team, or all they were before today. But whatever. We're going to see. We got a lot of the top NFL teams playing each other the next couple of weeks. So we're going to get to see, the Eagles and the Lions and the Packers and the Eagles tomorrow night. So we, the top of the NFC is going to have a good shakeup in it right now, especially with Tampa Bay losing today and knocked them down a game. Seattle's still going strong. We got, let's see. I want to kind of look at next week's games real quick. Game schedule. What we got next week? Week 11. Come on, internet. Exciting radio. Let's see. You got the Bucks and the Bills next week. You got a lot of good football next week. The Jaguars and the Chargers. I know I just kind of talk shit about them, but let's see.
Bucks versus the Bills.
Yep. You got Seahawks and Rams next week too. So I guess that's
that's nasty.
Yeah. So like that,
the Broncos
versus the NFC is going to get. We're going to see some clarity kind of happen between tomorrow night and next week. So, got the Niners at 6-4. They got the Cardinals next week. And depending on which Cardinal team shows up and which Niner team shows up, we're going to see just a lot of shakeout. And I know the Packers got the Giants next week, but the Giants are I know they're 2-8, but they're not just a bug just to swat away. They're a tough football team that's going to
the Giants are way better than they're way better than their record.
Yeah. That again, this goes to what I was saying before, that like just they're better than their record. Just because it says that's not what they are. So I mean, and we got Bears Vikings too next week. It's some good football. I hope I get to sit down and actually watch it next week.
Yes, I will be sitting down and watching every last one of those games. Oh yeah. If y'all really want to watch basketball too, Y'all can add it to Sling. You know the Sling subscription. I just
Yeah.
added NBA League Pass to Sling, so yeah, so I can watch everything. So I'm a sports fanatic, so I gotta watch everything. Anything y'all want to add to the MVP conversation?
No, I about it.
Mm, I did like adding Jackson Smith and Jigba to the conversation, albeit he's a wide receiver. But regardless, what he's done, what he's done the first half of the year has been remarkable. Like it's like he's slowly kind of, as you saw him rise in terms of like his play and how much better he was getting, you could almost feel like they might be getting ready to ship off DK with the way JSN's been playing. So they traded him to Pittsburgh, and then he's become the outright number one. And you just see the growth, and you just see how good he is. And hey, man, Ohio State man, wide receiver, what can you say?
Let's not forget about Christian McCaffrey as well.
I do want to say I do want to say that Seattle, what a great way of completely retooling your offense. And saying, like, you know what, Gino, you gave us a couple good years. We gave you a nice solid contract for it. We rewarded you. But bravo on going and getting and doing the scouting on Sam Darnold, and then knowing that somebody like DK Metcalf does not fit that style of quarterback and does not provide the type of target that is needed for Sam Darnold, and like bravo again, strong. That Seattle has been a strong franchise since 2011, 2012.
Even before that, during the Mike Holmgren era, they was pretty good.
Yeah, and then they had the Mike. You're right. So I would say the after Holmgren left Green Bay in 90 something or 98 after the 98 season. That's been a solid franchise for 25 years now, and they've retooled. They've survived losing guys like Hall of Fame coaches like Pete Carroll and Mike Holmgren, and they've evolved. But that infrastructure there has kind of kept it going, kind of like how Green Bay's always been. And then look what they're doing. Sam Darnold's in that MVP type conversation as well. Like, I'm not saying he's like a top guy, but he's in that discussion of who should be in the discussion.
Let's not forget about Christian McCaffrey as well. Right now,
Yes,
and this is going to blow your mind. Right now, through 10 games, he has 69 receptions and almost 700 yards. That is nuts.
Yeah.
He has more receptions than some receivers and more receiving yards than certain receivers. And on top of that, he has over 626 yards for 4 touchdowns. So he had 4 touchdowns receiving and 4 touchdowns rushing. So let's not discount the fact that he could go for over 1,000 again this year, which can put him in the MVP conversation. I think he's dark horse at this point, considering that the front runner at running back is Jonathan Taylor, but he has a chance if he could go for over 1,000 again. But last but not least, man, look, a lot of sadness in the sports world today, man. Former NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue passed away today. Very, very sad for the NFL. I must admit, didn't expect to hear that. And also Lenny Wilkens, former coach of the Atlanta Hawks, the Seattle Supersonics, the Cleveland Cavaliers, not to mention the New York Knicks, the Portland Trailblazers, he passed away. The main thing that I remember about Lenny Wilkens is he was the coach for the Atlanta Hawks when I went to my first game. I was in the 7th grade. And they made that big, huge trade for Dikembe Mutombo during that time. So
yes.
And so I'll never forget that. And he's the third winningest coach of all time. Not only that, he's a top 75 player and he's a top 50 player as well. So he made both NBA anniversary teams. So he was one hell of a coach. Unfortunately, he was not able to recapture that magic that he had in Seattle back in the 70s with Tiny Archibald and company. But he was one hell of a coach. He rebuilt a lot of franchises. He rebuilt Atlanta when he was with Atlanta. He rebuilt the Knicks. He rebuilt the Toronto Raptors. He rebuilt a lot of great teams, and he was able to keep those teams relevant for a hell of a long time. And championships don't necessarily make you, the greatest coach, but he's third all time in wins for reasons. He's right behind Don Nelson and Greg Popovich. So he's up there with those two coaches for a reason. He has more wins than Phil Jackson. So with that being said, and with Paul Tagliabue, you got to think about the expansion teams as far as going from 28 teams to 32 teams in the league. When you think about the Carolina Panthers, Paul Tagliabue. When you think about the Houston Texans, Paul Tagliabue. When you think about the Jacksonville Jaguars, Paul Tagliabue. So let's just keep it all the way above. Plus, let's not forget, I don't know. Well, I'm with the guys in my age range right about now. Y'all remember the NFL used to be solely on NBC at one point. It was on Fox at one point.
It's weird. Paul Tagliabue was kind of the weird, like quiet, nerdy commissioner. But his tenure, like, arguably, like, don't get me wrong, like, I think Goodell and the elevation of the NFL under Goodell and the amount of money it makes now, but I think a lot of that is piggybacked off of what Tagliabue established. 2/3 of the NFL teams were playing in new stadiums that didn't exist when he took over. Most of the league franchises increased tenfold in value under his watch. Arguably, the NFL became America's pastime under Paul Tagliabue. I'd argue, besides maybe Pete Rozelle and David Stern, he is one of the better commissioners we've ever had in sports. He didn't hesitate to cancel the NFL games after 9/11. Like, there wasn't a lot of, like, I'd have to really go back and really do some digging, but his only real big, like, snafus really were, but it really wasn't his fault. It was the Browns and the Oilers relocating. He really didn't have any scandals during his tenure.
The only thing that I could think of was him and Jerry Jones. Remember, Jerry Jones was wanted teams to be sponsored independently by independent sponsors. And remember, him and Jerry Jones went to court about that, but they end up settling after a while. Yeah. And that's the reason why a lot of stadiums have their own sponsorships within the stadium, because it used to be universally. It used to be before Jerry Jones and Paul Tagliabue came into an agreement. It used to be where every single NFL team had to have the same sponsor, had to have the same, vendors inside the stadiums. It used to be, because I remember, I'd never forget, Coca-Cola used to be universal for every single person, every single team in the league. But then it switched in the 90s. Now you're able to, I remember Jerry Jones, he was the first owner to have Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, and he'd have Dr. Pepper and Pepsi in the same damn venue. Because usually when you see Dr. Pepper, you don't see Pepsi any damn where.
No.
Well, at least. That was the biggest controversy.
What?
That was probably the biggest controversy, but it really wasn't. It just something that, Jerry Jones was being a little bit more progressive than the other owners. And, him and Paul Tagliabue kind of came to an agreement. It's like, okay, let's go ahead. Let's do this thing.
I guess you could I guess you could say the concussion thing was kind of, but that was, I don't think that's just based on him. He made some remarks years ago that were a little insensitive, but I think everybody viewed concussions back in the day completely different than we do now.
Exactly. And the players even some of the players said, look, I kind of knew what was going on, but the reality of the situation is I want to play. I had a family to feed.
Yeah,
It's like I had a family to feed, and guess what? A lot of the guys say, "Hey, look, if I could do it again, I'd do it again."
yeah.
So
You know,
that's the pact that you make with your body when you do a violent sport.
I mean, yeah. The other thing too, I do want to point out that when he took over the league in 1989, the NFL had just hired the first black head coach, and by the time he retired, they had 7 minority coaches.
Yeah.
So
Dennis
that,
Green was the first black coach, wasn't it?
yep, yes, he
Yeah,
was.
Minnesota Vikings.
That was one thing that he also so he took over in 1989. He under his regime, administration, whatever you want to call it, his reign as a commissioner, he saw free agency become a thing in 1993. And that was introduced during his tenure as well. He instituted the Rooney Rule.
Yeah.
That was a big thing too. So I mean, again, if you want to really look at a lot of the things I mean, he is one of the most solid commissioners ever in any
Yeah.
sport.
I have
Like
to
I
agree.
remember what. Go ahead.
I have to agree. And he wasn't out front. You rarely saw him. You saw him at the
I was
draft.
gonna, he was the quiet, nerdy guy.
Yeah, he was, you saw him at the draft, and you saw him on TV every once in a while, but he wasn't like David Stern or even Pete Rozelle or
No.
Roger Goodell or even Adam Silver. If you saw Paul Tagliabue back in the day, during them days, either some shit was about to go down or some shit that went down, or he's about to make a big announcement. Other than that, and even in the draft, after he announced like the first 10 picks, he was the hell up out of there after that 10 picks.
Yeah, I remember. I
No,
still remember the moment. I still remember the moment he took over and officially, and I think it was at Super Bowl 24 when he handed the Lombardi Trophy to then head coach George Seifert and to Joe Montana, and that was his official and he was like again, completely. Pete Rozelle was kind of charismatic, and he was a cigar smoking, whatever, and but I, Paul Tagliabue, like I said, I think he deserves. He's my commissioner. To put it in a weird way, he's my commissioner. So God rest his soul, rest in peace. He's survived by his wife and his son and daughter. Oddly enough, he was a standout college basketball player at Georgetown as well.
Yes.
Besides being an attorney.
He went to Georgetown of all places.
Yeah. The nerdy white guy.
He went to Georgetown.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, you understand. You understand. Damn. That had to he he went before Hoya Paranoia. He would. Yeah, he went before he had to go there before Hoya Paranoia. So yeah, that's the weirdest. Damn, that's a fun fact, but a weird fact. When somebody tell you, man, I went to Georgetown, I'm just gonna keep it real, man. Georgetown is like a damn a Power 5 HBCU. If you really want me to be honest with you,
I mean,
I'm just being real. It's just like Georgetown is it's in Washington D.C. They call it Chocolate City for a reason. So when you think about Georgetown, you think about it's just the Washington D.C.'s version of Howard. It's just being real with you. It's just an upgraded HBCU. If you really want me to be honest with you. Am I lying? So
you're not wrong.
Because look, when I think about Georgetown, I think about not only Hoya Paranoia, I think about the shoes too. Guys walking around in the Georgetown zone. So yeah, Georgetown Hoya Paranoia. So yeah, like I said, it's just an upgrade. It's just an upgraded HBCU. So, What are your thoughts, Jeff, about Paul Tagliabue and Lenny Wilkins?
Um, yeah, yeah. Even though Paul Tagliabue wasn't like he wasn't necessarily the most charismatic type, or he wasn't like always in front of the camera. He was like, you know what I'm saying, growing up, you know what I'm saying, growing up, most of my growing up was really Paul Tagliabue as NFL commissioner. So, you know, as a as a Falcons fan, one of my biggest images of him was 2001 announcing the number one overall draft pick, Michael Vick out of West Virginia. And like being a Falcons fan, that's just an image that always kind of sticks out. That he's the one that announced Mike, and like and he was definitely out on the forefront on a lot of things. Yeah, like y'all already mentioned, like free agency, and like a lot of the yeah, like just a lot of the labor stuff that's kind of in existence nowadays with the NFL. He kind of saw like the beginning of it, and kind of like the birth of it. Like a lot of the, you know, like, so it's he was definitely like for his time and with the NFL, he was kind of like groundbreaking. He kind of like what you see in the NFL nowadays with their globalization and just, you know, just their advertising where they are now. Paul Tagliabue kind of really set that he set it in motion. Like you know, Roger Goodell has definitely kind of worked off of the foundation and has kind of taken it to higher heights. But Paul Tagliabue definitely was the one that built the foundation for a lot of the things you see today. And you know, he bought it. You know, he built that up during his tenure. So definitely sending thoughts and prayers and condolences to his family. And Lenny Wilkins. Yeah. When I remember him. You know, when he was the Atlanta Hawks head coach, and those rosters he had. I felt, man, I felt like I hated those rosters never got to an Eastern Conference Finals, but you felt like, as a fan, I was like, man, maybe they could do something this year. 'Cause that was like, especially after they made that trade for Dikembe Mutombo. So it was him and Christian Leitner, Steve Smith, Mookie Blaylock. I mean, those were formidable teams in the, mid late '90s. Those were formidable squads. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like there was the Atlanta, like there was a old NBA game back in the day, like for the original PlayStation, NBA Live '98. Boy, the
Yeah.
Atlanta Hawks were one of those Hawks teams were good, and they were one of my favorite teams to play with. Those teams were good. Just the way, like the ball movement, the defense, they could really just, like, they weren't scared of the challenge. They weren't scared of anybody. And I mean, they had to go up. They had to go up against. I mean, one of those years they had to go up against the Bulls in the semifinals. So I mean, like they don't run from they never ran from a challenge. That's one thing you have to give those Hawks. And those are pretty much Lenny Wilkins coach teams. Like they took on they took on his persona, like the grit and the toughness, and just, but also the ability to distribute and the ball movement. You know, with him being a point guard, him being a Hall of Fame point guard at that. So whoever was that starting point guard for him was going to basically take it on his identity, and you saw that with Tiny Archibald in Seattle winning the championship in the late '70s. You saw that with like I said, with Mookie Blaylock with those Hawk squads. I mean, he I hated he only got one championship. It was like he couldn't get you over that hump, but he was that coach that could get you there, could get you ready. A lot of times it may took that next coach to get you over the hump, but he was the one that kind of set that layer there for the next coach. And I just kind of, it's a shame he only won one championship in his entire career. But definitely yeah, definitely an icon of the sport. Definitely going to be missed. Both of the guys are going to be missed. Just two guys that were really like, you know, kind of set some standards as far as like, as far as what's going on today. So definitely thoughts and prayers and condolences go out to both families, Paul Tagliabue and Lenny Wilkins. Prayers and condolences go out to both families.
Yes, indeed. Rest in peace to both. And want to take this time to say thank you, Mr. Wilkins, and thank you, Mr. Paul Tagliabue, uh, for all the contributions. Especially, look, like I said, first Hawks game I ever saw, Dikembe Mutombo was there. So I was able to see my team. I kind of was not sold on the Hawks, still not, because of them making that crazy trade. I never forgave them for trading Dominique Wilkins, but he came in the very next year and won 57 games. The year after they
Oh,
traded Wilkins.
and not meaning to like rub it in. We did kind of run y'all off the floor without like three starters the other night. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You did. What an ass. What an ass.
What? What? The Hawks beat y'all by 20 with no Trey, no Jalen Johnson, no Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, what do you want me to say?
Man.
No, because I saw the Twitter feeds and I saw all the talk. Everybody's like, "Oh man, no Trey, no KP, no Jalen Johnson. Oh, this is an easy win." I'm like, who's here after that beatdown? It
Well,
ain't you. It ain't you. It just a lot of fans thought it was an easy win, and it was like, hmm, mm, mm.
yes, indeed. But, rest in peace to Lenny Wilkins. I'm not so sure. Let me see if the Hawks have a game tonight, and maybe
They don't. They don't tonight, but I think they do tomorrow. I think
tomorrow at 10. Well, they're not at home tomorrow, but let me see when
their
they're.
next home game.
Yeah, they're on the road right about now. But let's see when they're back at home. Look, I know one thing. When you're back home, I know they're on a road trip right now. Pay tribute to Lenny Wilkins. Make damn sure you pay tribute to Lenny Wilkins.
Exactly.
Also, to PSP's point, Marshawn Nealon, rest in peace to him as well. We talked a little bit about that on the PSP podcast. Shout out to PSP. And like they say, death comes in threes, and they definitely hit us hard this week with Marshawn Nealon, mental health, and we addressed a lot of that on PSP's podcast. Not to mention, Lenny Wilkins, an iconic coach, and Paul Tagliabue. Like I stated, he wasn't the most flamboyant guy in the world, but I think this guy, what's the guy's name? I think Harrio. If y'all don't know who Harrio is, I'll give you a little bit of history lesson. That's the guy who originally went in with Suge Knight and tried to do Death Row. Harrio said this: when you are in the background a lot, you have a hell of a lot more power than you are in the front. Because guess what? When you're the invisible man, really nobody knows who are in charge. And if somebody sees you, then guess what? They know either stuff can hit the fan or you're about to make something happen. That's what I love about Paul Tagliabue. He didn't have to be out front all the time. He didn't have to be. He didn't have to be this charismatic figure at every game. Even he never said. And one other thing I can say this: one thing that he can say that no other commissioner can say. There's one thing that he can say that no other commissioner can say in the history of this league. Under Paul Tagliabue, there was never a work stoppage, there was never a lockout, and there was never a strike.
Yeah, you're right.
There was never a lockout. Pete Rozelle, God rest his soul, can't say that, and asshole Cadell, he can't say that either. So neither one of them can say that there was never a work stoppage in the NFL. Paul Tagliabue is the lone commissioner that can say there was never a work stoppage under my watch. Never. So, on that note, in the great words of Celebrity Deathmatch, damn, y'all are no damn hill. Good fight, good night. Anything I want to add?
No, I was waiting on you to say it because that was one of my shows growing up. I was waiting on you to say it. But no, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to get on here and do what we do with y'all. With y'all too, is always a pleasure. It's been a great weekend of football. Got like I said, the NBA. We're still early in the NBA season. They're about to really get the revving up. So hopefully we'll have some. We getting into more baseball content as the season progresses. NFL, of course, is heating up. We're getting into that stretch in November. We're about to start. We're about to really separate the men from the boys as far as like who the best of the best in the league, as far as establishing who make the playoffs. Um, where I'm probably going to end up. Well, let's see. I know the Major League playoffs are over. Dodgers went back to back. Ridiculously great 7-game World Series. Um, I know the MLB awards will be coming up. I kind of want to do some videos as far as like who I'm predicting is going to win the award. So that'll probably be coming up in the future as well. And also, y'all just click the link tree in my bio. BRS Sports is a TikTok link tree to bio. Y'all click it. Feel free to follow me, whatever. Whether it's my TikTok, whether it's my Facebook, my IG, my X/Twitter, whether it's my Discord page. Y'all hop on. I'm always looking to meet people. I'm always looking to experience new viewpoints. More. Just doing what we do best. Talk sports, have fun. A topic not thought about is a topic not talked about. We always in it to have fun.
Flashback.
I would say tune into my TikTok channel, but right now I just don't have the time to make TikToks right now. I'm trying to find the time. I have a busy hockey playing math wizard daughter that I'm taking care of. So to try and find time to do that between that and work is a little tough, but I will be here every Sunday and keep tuning in, guys. Thanks for the entertaining comments, Dwayne. I wanted to follow up on a question. You said, what do you mean by holding a quarterback accountable? I know you asked that question. I wanted to answer that question that you had earlier. What did you mean by that, Dwayne? Just before we get off. And yes, I did see the Michael Jackson trailer biopic.
Yeah, I saw that. That was good. He looked just like
I'm excited for that.
I heard it's getting 2 separate movies.
Well, I mean, that would make sense because if you really look at his career, he's got 2 separate careers. He's got the Jackson 5, and then he's got his career. So,
well, really 3 careers because you had
yeah.
Thriller, then you had the New Jack Swing version of Michael Jackson where he ventured over into hip hop when Teddy Riley was doing his thing in the hip hop.
The dangerous era.
Yeah, the dangerous era.
Yeah,
which I love that damn era, dangerous. But hey man, look, there's never look, people can talk all the shit they want to and forgive my language. There will never be another bigger icon than Michael Jackson.
Oh no!
For the people, I did a TikTok about it. For the people who had the unmitigated gall to say Taylor Swift was hitting Michael Jackson level of famous.
No.
I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Rebuke you. That's how stupid y'all sounded.
There will never be a bigger star in the world ever than Michael Jackson was in the 90s. And
I think he's the goat of all goats when it comes.
I don't. And just to bring it around to sport, like there was 2 MJs at that time, and this is why, like, I don't think there will be a bigger star than Michael Jordan either. I mean, that we literally got to witness the 2 biggest stars ever, and like Michael Jackson, it doesn't even, like, if you all you kiddies out there that are listening, if you take what Taylor Swift is now and how popular she is and then multiply that by like 1,000, then you might get even close to what Michael Jackson was. Like, that's how huge he was.
Well, not only that was without. Look, you got to realize something. And I hate to go over it just a little bit, but I'll be rich to say this. We didn't have social media.
No,
And back then, let's just be very, very honest about this. Back then, we didn't have access to everything. We didn't have access to everything. There were certain videos that you couldn't play before 9 o'clock because
no,
everything before 9 o'clock was considered family hour. And there was times where guys, let's just face it, MTV didn't put certain guys on MTV. It wasn't until they threatened to remove Billy Joel, CBS Sports, CBS Records threatened to remove Billy Joel from MTV, and he backed them up on that they put on Michael Jackson. So the things that he had to go through in order to get there explains itself. And like I stated, and shout out to MTV. They recently announced that there'll be no more MTV video stations,
no.
which really hurts my damn feelings. But
Yeah.
there is no more videos. If you really want me to be honest with you, but there's no videos worth watching. I would say.
No, not even. No, the music videos are a thing of the past, and everything's uploaded to YouTube. I shouldn't say a thing of the past; just everything's on YouTube now.
But and not only that, you know that song, and I know I'm gonna sound old as hell. What's that song? Video kill the radio star. Hey,
Yes.
Yeah,
hey,
YouTube
YouTube,
killed the video star. Yeah,
huh?
YouTube
Kill
killed the
the
video
video
star.
star.
It I've said this all along in the argument of what Jordan versus LeBron, and that argument is, and you mentioned it, and there's no social media or no internet. Like Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan were and I'm gonna, and we had another person, we talked about him earlier. He passed away. Hulk Hogan. They were global before being global was a thing, and they didn't have the aid of
24-hour media.
No, I mean, just it's just the world that we live in now, and the access that we have to media now is nowhere. Like I give you just a silly example. It wasn't when I was a kid, like little kid, it wasn't a guarantee that I could watch a Green Bay Packer game in the late '80s,
No,
because if the game wasn't sold out, I wasn't watching it.
yeah,
Even
they're
locally,
blackout games.
that was the same thing for the Milwaukee Brewers. Like we had very limited access on who we could watch on a week to week. Like you look at the NBA, I couldn't find a Bucks game. You know what my NBA was? That was the NBA on NBC, and it was basically the same six teams over and over and over again. It was the Knicks, the Bulls, the Rockets,
The
uh,
Magic.
the Magic, and a smattering of others. The Lakers, when Magic was still around. So you know, um, I am so excited to see that biopic, and I hope it's a two-parter. I hope it does. We've had a handful of music biopics, but I hope this one goes on to a deeper level than the other ones did. A lot of them really didn't go into a deep level on their personal lives, and I kind of hope this does. Um, I hope it does on the music side as well. I hope it does a great balance. But I'm excited. The kid looked amazing. They exaggerated the schnoz a little bit in one of the scenes. Like it was a little much. Like okay, but at the same time, like the kid sounded great. He looked great. I'm excited for it. I think everybody can talk about Michael Jackson, but if Billie Jean comes on, you are not moving.
Hey, Big
Yeah.
Rick
And
said it best. Long nights I perform like Mike. Anyone, Tyson, Jordan, Jackson.
well done. So, and real quick, just so people know, they probably already know, but yeah, his name is Jafar. That's Mike's nephew. That's Jermaine's son. That's gonna do the adult work as far as Mike in the movie. But yeah, like he was, and one more thing before we leave the air. One thing that people don't realize as well about Mike, we talked about like it wasn't just social media. A lot of these artists have like the advantage of like being able to stream and like all the leaks and stuff being put out early. Oh no, You found out what everybody else did when Michael Jackson, when those albums were coming out back in the day, and there was no streaming, there was no online purchase. It was get your butt up, go to the music store and buy his album. So imagine the amount of albums he sold even before we got to the point where stuff started streaming. Just think like how iconic and how major and how big he was even before the Butterflies album, when things were starting to become a little more stream based and stream heavy and all that stuff. The albums that he had already sold, when it was all just you had to get up and go to a music store and literally put your cash out to buy an album. Like people just don't realize the level Michael Jackson had reached, like, at his peak when he was still alive. People, y'all will probably never get the full understanding of it, how big he was as an artist.
I'm looking at something right now, real quick before we go off the air. And one of the highest rated Super Bowl shows is Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
So look, that was before halftime shows were just as popular. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, look, look, Michael Jackson. Like I said, man, I never forget. He passed away when I was overseas serving my country. Never forget that. That was crazy. And then "This Is It" came out. That was it was a moment. It was a very there was a moment. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget that. That was a Michael Jackson. Look, he made my childhood special, man. Made my childhood special, man. And look, one of the best guitar solos that you will ever hear came from "Beat It."
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the best guitar solo that you will ever hear. That was one of the best ones. But I can't wait to see what. Not to mention, man, you've seen a lot of other people, but because of you saw Wesley Snipes because of Michael Jackson.
One of the greatest music videos of all times is still the Jam video, him and Michael Jordan. Still
Yeah,
one of the greatest music videos of all time.
yeah. So, hey, man, and what's so funny about that, man? People were very selective about who they featured on their songs. So if you got on a record with, to be able to say you got on a record with those guys back in the day, for you to say that you got on a record with Prince or Michael Jackson back in those days, the fact that Biggie Smalls was able to get on in Heavy D, those two guys. There's probably was a few other guys as well as far as rap was concerned, but not to mention Jay-Z, he got on the song with Michael Jackson. Say those three big icons for them to say, "Hey, I did something that was never did before in hip hop. I got on a song with Michael Jackson." So y'all, it's rest of y'all shut the hell up. So you know that was something amazing. But on that note, I salute every last one of you guys. Uh, Look, thank you for a great show. Based on the comments, I know how the WNBA players feel now. And on that note, good night.
Night.